It's like none of this matters to you. You all act like my friends, like you understand the pressure I'm under, but you don't. And you can all pretend to get it, but you don't have any idea. The only one who cared was Appa. And he's gone. Because you lost him.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
This show managed to do the impossible. It did not just make Long Feng likable, it also made him logical and simultaneously correct. Long Feng is correct in his treatment of Azula in this scene, and it is wild to me that I am even taking his side. But then I remember that the writers made Azula a desperate little girl with daddy issues, who constantly seeks approval and affirmation from those around her, especially her father. Well done, writers. You made Long Feng smarter than Azula, the exact opposite of what is meant to happen. Anyway, hello there everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to the video. It is lovely to have you all here as always. Just really quickly here, there were some people in the previous video who were complaining that I am an AI. I want to take a moment to assure everyone that I certainly am not. In fact, I get this so much I changed my channel's bio months ago. So anyone who visits my channel knows I am not an AI. I just sound monotone, and believe me, I sound like this in real life as well. Anyway, without wasting much more of your time, let's begin the review of this absolute dumpster fire. So, the episode begins where we left off. Aang is in the Avatar state because he just found out Appa was stolen, and he exits the Avatar state by himself. I am not joking. He wasn't berserk or out of control. He threw a quick tantrum, stopped, directly went after Toph to throw blame at her instead, and then left to go find Appa by himself. This show is just abysmal, I swear. What was the point of displaying such a short burst of the Avatar state? Also, I did not like how he was able to just enter and leave the Avatar state at will, because this removes a major part of his training. It's clear he has the ability to enter the Avatar state and leave at will. So how will they handle Guru Patik later? Unless he will be entirely removed from the story. Oh god, no. They're going to remove him, aren't they? Is that why they gave Aang the ability to control the Avatar state this early? Fantastic. Anyway, Aang goes on top of Ba Sing Se to use a whistle and nothing. Yup, no sign of Appa, as expected. But I want it known and on record that both Appa and Toph were at the site where Appa was taken. Alright, they both have seismic sense as well. Keep note of that. You will get a serious laugh at the end of this episode. So anyway, we then get a scene of Zuko going through the fever that is meant to change him from conflicted to good-natured as he experiences visions. But I am skipping every single instance of this in this episode, because as I have displayed in my reviews, Zuko has not undergone the journey to earn this redemption period of character change whatsoever. He stole from the pregnant couple in the desert area. The original did not. He then proceeded to become the blue spirit for personal reasons, not selfless ones. He was also stealing during this time. Zuko's entire time period in Ba Sing Se does not equate to him earning this conflicted period. In the original, Zuko was already making the right choices. My favorite being when he fought to free the kid who he handed a dagger. In that instance, Zuko literally fought Earth Kingdom mercenaries to free other Earth Kingdom citizens from their oppression. He lost and only won by using his fire, by revealing his own true nature. A very clear way of showing that his fire, his heritage, is not evil. What's evil is choosing to use who he is and what he has to do bad things. And in that instance, a firebender, the Fire Nation's prince, Zuko, used his powers to protect, showing you that firebenders and firebending itself is not inherently evil by default. What's evil and what makes it evil and destructive is using it for bad things. Zuko used it for good, and he was still judged for it, of course, because of the negative view the world had of firebenders at that point. But the show was making it clear to you that Zuko is capable of great good. He is changing, he is becoming a better person. And going forward, Zuko proceeded to keep making good or conflicting choices but never directly bad ones ever again. Zuko was now a good person, plain and simple, only cemented by Iroh finally giving the final speech to choose who he is and what he truly wants. And Zuko, in that moment, he chose to be good, until Azula changes it of course, but that's part of the story as well. But you see my point. This version of Zuko on Netflix is basically just cosplaying Zuko. A cosplay only possible if written by people who did not watch the source material at all. So I am sorry, but I will not cover his nonsensical transformation in this show, or his visions for that matter, unless they interest me. Anyway, moving on. We see the idiots trying to make a plan, or lack thereof. Aang was away the entire night looking for Appa with no success. He is also showing that he is grieving over the loss of Appa and is still visibly very hostile towards Toph. I'm not even going to begin to cover how dumb this entire scene is. But they start brainstorming ways to enter the palace and see the king. The scene ends there. Anyway, following this, we get a scene of Long Feng continuing his talk with Azula from the previous episode, and the writer's poor attempts at presenting Azula as a believable, smart character, while single-handedly presenting her as the biggest dumbass this side of the Earth Kingdom. As the talks begin, Azula basically just spills all her cards on the table. She reveals she is looking for a fugitive from the Fire Nation. She also reveals the names of the people that are apparently traitors against Long Feng, and basically just reveals all her intentions. She even reveals that she knows, or thinks at the very least, that Long Feng is the Shadow Ruler. Again, all of her bargaining cards right there on the table from the start. To which, rightfully so mind you, Long Feng basically just says, "Cool, thank you for sharing. I will deal with this in my own time," and starts to leave the room. And like the petulant child that Azula is, Azula starts throwing threats. You honestly could not make a dumber character than Azula at this moment. What does she expect to gain by agitating the man who holds her life in the palm of his hands exactly? But you know what, let me just show you, because Long Feng says this.
You walk into this prison to negotiate, immediately give up your only leverage, and then hurl empty threats at me. Is this what passes for military prowess in the Fire Nation?
And Azula, in all her wisdom, replies with this.
A few miles from here, there are 20,000 firebenders who have been ordered to level the wall and burn your city to the ground. Unless I tell them to stand down. That's what we call military prowess.
Yes, Azula, but are you forgetting that you actually had the general of said army turned into the Earth Kingdom so you could gain leverage to enter the city? That is an army with no leader, and their princess is now a prisoner. What exactly do you expect to gain from a military with no direction or chain of command? And the smugness is what gets me the most. Young lady, it took the likes of General Iroh to be the first to actually go through that damn wall. If it was so easy to get into Ba Sing Se, the Fire Nation would have done so already. Your leaderless soldiers are no threat when in enemy territory, and Long Feng knows this. He said it right here.
Even if that were true, our army will handle it, like it always has.
And here's Azula's stupid answer.
The army whose leaders I just named as traitors?
You know, the irony in the statement is she didn't even begin to consider that her own army also doesn't have any leaders either, since again she offered up the general of the army to the Earth Kingdom, and she is also in prison at the moment. Whereas the army of the Earth Kingdom does still have rulers, it's up to Long Feng to decide whether he wants to take your word that they are traitors or not, you dumbass. But let's continue, I'm enjoying this scene way too much.
You see, I know who you are too. A privileged girl, desperate to show that she deserves anything.
God damn, Long Feng. Hit her right in the feels with that one. I love it. You are the MVP of this episode, brother. Jokes aside, Long Feng is genuinely just owning Azula in this scene. To anyone with actual intelligence, Azula lost this negotiation the moment she threw all her bargaining chips on the table at the start, and left Long Feng, who already had the upper hand mind you, with all the power he needed to just treat Azula as a worthless child playing at being a leader. Frankly, if they had just stuck to the original, or at the very least cast a less, adorable actress and someone who is actually intimidating, this would at the very least be interesting. I mean, hell, look at this.
Even in this cell, I have more power than you could scrape together in 1,000 lifetimes.
Is she just not the sweetest thing ever? Trying to bite the hand that can order your death, eh, Azula? Adorable. Hey, Long Fang, cook her for a moment.
The divine right to rule is something you're born with.
And were you born with it? Or were you born second best?
Very good work, Long Fang. You are still the MVP of this episode. And finally, near the end of this dumb scene, Azula tries to promise Long Fang that if he does as she says, she will somehow make him recognized as the man that saved Ba Sing Se. And sorry mate, how exactly is the Princess of the Fire Nation supposed to raise the cultural minister of the Earth Kingdom's reputation? This is genuinely so freaking dumb. Azula is so used to giving orders and getting her way, she thinks she can just do the same thing in Ba Sing Se. I'm so done with this scene. This is character assassination towards Azula, and I am done with it. Anyway, on to the next one then. Zuko asks to work at Iroh's tea shop. That's it for this scene. Oh, and he is magically acting like a decent human being as well. I did say I would not cover his nonsensical change, and I meant it. Anyway, the following scene is of the Idiot Squad finally finishing their brainstorming for ideas to get into the Earth Kingdom Palace. Sokka ends up with the idea to hide in wine barrels to get into the castle. The Lady General goes in with them, and her soldiers are the ones carrying the barrels as a gift for the palace, I guess. They are allowed in, but the Lady General is taken aside by the Dai Li to go see Long Fang. Some nonsense does happen with the wine barrels, but they do end up meeting in the end after getting out of them. We will talk about this later. We have to first talk about this dumb Zuko scene. Apparently, babies are scared of Zuko. Smart, they must be allergic to evil. Anyway, this girl is trying to pull the moves on Zuko, sneakily asking to show him around the city, and for once he agrees on something we both would have said yes to. We are also shown the thief that Iroh had a talk with now actually works at the tea shop with him, learning the art of tea making from Iroh, I suppose. Anyway, we are back again with the Idiot Squad, who managed to meet up in the castle and go find the Earth King. But before that, Katara tells Aang to calm down and get his anger in check before talking to the king, or it will end up costing them everything. We then see a scene of the Lady General talking to Long Fang. He obviously understands that she is against him and plans to go directly to the Earth King to inform him about the war. But Long Fang is smart. He just says the Lady General's daughter will be taken to Lake Laogai, which of course means it's checkmate. The Lady General will now do whatever he wants. The idiots go to the king's study. He is not there. Katara gets the idea to check the king's garden, which how did you even know where that was exactly? But they do indeed find the king in the garden. Honestly, this portrayal of the king is entirely pathetic. The king seemingly does know that things are not great in the city, but intentionally avoids all politics and makes Long Feng handle all of it, which is definitely a character assassination if you ask me. The reason the original king in the original show did not take matters into his own hands is simply because he did not know of any of it. This one seems to have the option to know about the politics in his own city, but refuses to hear any of it because according to him he has people for that. Can you even call this guy a king? Anyway, after some plant BS with Katara, he agrees to hear what they have to say. But this scene is cut off by another. Azula and her cheer squad of psychopaths are basically just indulging Azula's nonsense, which I will of course be mostly skipping. She tells a long, boring story which boils down to that she wants to kill Zuko because Zuko being alive is a threat to her. That's it. The writers are trying to make it seem that Zuko is an actual threat to Azula's power or authority, when none of this is canon. Genuinely, you cannot find stupidity this rancid, even in fanfiction. Meanwhile, Zuko was just enjoying his date with the lovely lady. Again, Zuko, we continue to agree on this one singular thing. Except we don't, because this scene is also not accurate to the original, but I will let it slide. Anyway, next scene over, and the Idiot Squad has now told the king about the plan and brief history of the events of the war as well. This is when Long Fang walks in with the Dai Li and the Lady General, who immediately rats on them. The king asks her directly if the Avatar team is telling the truth. She says they are lying and that Ba Sing Se is actually safe. So there goes their entire plan, I guess. But they genuinely brought this upon themselves in the most scrumptious way imaginable. as our MVP Long Fang proceeds to dismantle these idiots one by one. And I'll admit I enjoyed this scene way more than I should have, because the writers basically gave him ammo and this brother was ready to use all of it in one glorious execution. He shuts down Katara because she made the mistake of stealing the flowers from the palace. She was also part of the riot, and he owns her even further by saying, if she was truly helping the people of Ba Sing Se, why bother hiding her identity in the first place? Yeah, so why is that, Katara? Why did you have to hide your identity? In the animated show, you had an actual reason to become the Painted Lady. You couldn't exactly reveal that you are a waterbender in the Fire Nation, or let your friends figure out that it was you because you were delaying them. So what's your excuse to become the Painted Lady in the Earth Kingdom, when you could have just helped them as Katara? You absolute moron. Toph is next. Your family has been working for the Fire Nation. You even received information that your treacherous mother is in Ba Sing Se at the moment. Honestly, the writers screwed you over big time. But that's Long Feng 2, Team Idiots 0. Moving on to Sokka. You were the last person seen with the professor, who has now disappeared. You are also friends with Sai, who took part in the planned assassination in Omashu, which means that Aang is also untrustworthy by default if your entire team is essentially smeared this badly. Your word also means absolutely nothing. They do try to plead their case to the king, and being that he is utterly pathetic, he asks Long Feng what he should do. And the writers run out of ideas, so they have Aang directly accuse Long Feng of Appa being stolen, despite having literally no reason or provocation to think it could be Long Feng. So he then goes into the Avatar state right there and exits the Avatar state again by himself too, which pretty much just cemented the fact that these idiots are not going to have any favor from anyone in this room. Because imagine triggering the equivalent of a nuclear meltdown in front of the king who was already being told not to trust you. Complete and utter malarkey going on in this scene. So yeah, they entirely screwed this up and Long Feng just has them escorted home. The king does at least showcase some backbone by the end of this scene by showing that he is not entirely clueless, and requests more information regarding whatever is happening at the worlds be directly sent to him, not Long Feng. The Lady General decides to try and own Long Feng without much success, mind you, since she did just backstab the Avatar under Long Feng's orders not long ago. Anyway, the idiots go home and get into a huge argument, and Aang behaves like a gigantic douche to absolutely everyone. He makes Toph leave, he then makes Sokka leave as well, and finally Katara also leaves. And Aang is now all by himself. None of this is canon to the original show, by the way. Literally none of it. Iroh finds out about Zuko's activities as the Blue Spirit. I'm skipping this scene because I don't care. It is followed by Iroh going to the White Lotus. Oh, I should have mentioned he's not actually a part of the White Lotus. Nor is he the Grand Lotus, he is only just now joining. It is also revealed here that Zhong was the reason Lu Ten, Iroh's son, actually died in battle, because apparently Zhong was working under Iroh's ruthless orders and had enough so he left, and that's how Lu Ten ended up dying. I don't even care about this scene, to be honest. They've changed so much for me to even care at this point. But yeah, this ends with Iroh being accepted into the White Lotus. We then get another glorified Zutara scene, which I'm going to be skipping in its entirety, other than quickly mentioning how funny it is that it happens in a place in front of a well so Katara would have water. Because scratch the idea of Katara carrying her own water pouch. That doesn't make any sense. Why would she carry one? Anywho, Toph goes over to see her mother. I don't care. Next, Sokka goes over to the Kyoshi warriors and gets knocked out by Ty Lee. Which, how? Was she not arrested by the Dai Li? Or are they trying to tell me that they got released already? I would laugh so freaking hard if somehow they are trying to say that after Azula supposedly killed Judy, Mei and Ty Lee were not taken captive with her. Or they were, but Long Feng for some reason has freed them all already. Because any of those choices are utterly and completely stupid. Speaking of stupid, time to cash in, folks. Remember what I said near the beginning about both Toph and Aang being around after Appa was stolen? and that they both have seismic sense. Yeah, Aang uses seismic sense to find Appa, who may literally be miles away and underground. I cannot be bothered with this show anymore. You are telling me Toph, who was right there when he was stolen, who can see with seismic sense, wasn't able to track the very path Appa was dragged on or find him with her earthbending, but Aang, who is new to it, was able to just do so. Mind you, the reason Toph couldn't do this in the desert was because she can't see in sand. Ba Sing Se is almost entirely just earth, and she couldn't find Appa, but Aang did. Yeah, I'm just ending the review right here. Please do like and subscribe if you liked the video and want to watch the final episode's review. There will be no drawn out outro, I'm just out of here. This show is complete and utter garbage and I cannot wait to see it end. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon in the next review. The final review. Let's end this nonsense once and for all. And then I am going to roast this show with the ferocity of Sozin's comet.